It's my pleasure once again to talk to you, Paula. Paula Panczenko is the director of Tandem Press, and I'm always learning new things about what Tandem Press is up to. And you guys, it's such a wonderful artistic outlet if people make use of it, and we're hoping they will, because you have some interesting artists coming in late winter and spring. Tell us what you have going on.
So we have 4 major artists coming in over the next several months. We will start next month because it's very hard to get anyone to come in January.
I wonder why.
And we have an artist called Caledonia Curry, and her moniker is Swoon because she started off as a street artist.
Okay.
And she will be coming in on the 20th of February and staying through the 3rd of March and making editions of prints.
Okay.
She was first very attracted to coming to Tandem because she realized we made large prints. And then she came to visit us at the print fair in New York a couple of years ago, and she saw so many small prints that she started making small prints. And after a week, she walked to the back of our studio and saw our big, large press and said, "Oh my goodness, my plan was to make large prints." So I think she's coming back this time, and she is going to make large prints.
Okay.
And so we're very excited about that.
And let me follow up on that. How rare is it? Because you've mentioned this before, that Tandem Press can do large prints. So it makes me feel that is at best less common, and maybe even we could call it rare. Is that the case?
It is. I mean, we can make a print 10 feet high.
Wow. Okay.
And 4 feet wide. Or we can, more normally, we have made prints that are 8 feet high and 4 or 5 feet wide. And then more commonly, we've made prints that would be 6 by 5 feet. And all of those are very substantial if you generally think of the size of a print. So we're not really quite sure what she's going to do because she's hectically busy traveling the world. She's also an installation artist. She paints. She had a major show at the Brooklyn Museum a couple of years ago. And she's also a wonderful humanitarian. And so after the terrible earthquake in Haiti, she and her friends decided that they had to do something. So they actually hired an architect who advised them not to bring in any materials to help the people of Haiti, but to use the materials that existed in that country itself and to rebuild with those materials. And so they built a community center in a small town. They're building houses there. And she set up a foundation called the Heliotrope Foundation. And she and many of her artist friends contribute their work, and all the proceeds go to the foundation to help people in Haiti.
And why were they urging her not to bring materials in?
Well, this particular architect felt bringing in materials from an outside of the country would go against using the natural materials of the country itself, and that they would sustain any future hurricanes or weather conditions in a much better way than those who are bringing in materials from the outside.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, it was very, very advanced thinking. They did a lot of research on the architect, and they they still are working there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I imagine it's endless.
Yeah, very much so.
In a very poor country like that. So when someone like Swoon comes in, does the public get to see, obviously they get to see the artwork that is produced. Is there an opportunity to actually see the art being produced? Is there a process viewing that is part of that, or is that ever part of the
Yes.
package?
What we often do is we have the artists give lectures at the Chazen Museum of Art, and then people can see that. But when she was here a couple of years ago, she did a talk. This time we have invited the art department to bring some classes over so that the students will get the opportunity to meet someone like that.
Okay.
Anybody who would like to come to Tandem, we can give a guided tour. So we're open to the public. every day. And if it's more convenient to make an appointment in case, as the days go by, so towards March 3rd, there's generally a great deal of tension about getting things finished. So it's probably better to come closer to the beginning of a visit rather than later.
Okay.
Because everybody it's full gear, full engines ahead at that stage.
All right. So keep your visits early on and don't wait until panic mode sets in.
Exactly. And feel free to call us, and we would be delighted to give anyone a tour.
Yeah, and that's a great thing, because I've gotten tours of the place, and I have learned so much. I'm a music guy, and so I've learned so much about the visual art world through working with you, and it's great. I feel like a smarter person, which is always a great thing.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you. Who else is going to be coming to visit?
Well, we're bringing in the Irish artist Mazer again. He also started off as a street artist like Swoon, and he did 2 very large prints on the last occasion he was in Madison, and we're not really quite sure what he's going to do this time. He's planning a new body of work. He's having exhibitions coming up in London this summer. And he's just come back from a 3-week, vacation in Patagonia. And so he loves, like yourself, being in nature and camping and hiking and all of those things. But he also has done a very interesting thing as an artist in his own right. He has set up a gallery, and he is promoting what artists whom he considers are not getting enough exposure. Okay. And so he opened that in Dublin before Christmas. And in addition to that, he helped the Irish president with his electoral campaign. And the president met him at an event and was very taken with his work and his huge following with younger people, which he has. Mm-hmm. And he said, the president in Ireland is 70, and he ran for another 7 years because everybody was so fond of him. And he's also a poet in his own right. And a president in Ireland is really more like a head of state, not a very non-political position. But he really wanted Mazer to help, so Mazer did a print that he sold and all sorts of items, and really encouraged younger people to vote for this man. Wow. And the president did a poem around a piece which he did. Nice. So he's a really interesting person. Wow. And a lot of people in Madison are already very familiar with him.
Okay. Oh, that's terrific. Wow. Incorporate art and an artist into politics. Yeah. I love that.
Exactly.
That's terrific. And when is the Mazer visit?
We think it's the end of March. We're not quite sure. He got a great opportunity in Japan, but he's trying to keep to the last week in March with us. Okay. But if it's not that, it will be shortly thereafter.
Okay. And after Mazer?
After Mazer, we're bringing in this wonderful young African-American artist. His name is Derek Adams. And one of the great things that happens at Tandem is that we work with artists who then recommend artists who we would never get otherwise. So the artist Micheline Thomas, who we've worked with over the years, and we're just completing a new print with her, strongly recommended him. And we were so excited about that. He does a form of portraiture, but he also does installations and video installations. And he deals a lot with the imagery of himself. And that will be his very first visit. So he's also teaching. So he will only come in probably for about 5 days. And when an artist comes in for a very short period like that, we may have to bring him back, which will be fine. So we're all very happy about that. And that's very exciting. And that will be in April. Okay. And then following that, we will have an artist who we have worked with since 1992, Suzanne Caparel, and she was born in Puerto Rico. She lived in California for many years, and then she lived in New York. and she always travels with her husband, who is a fiction writer, and they come with their dogs and lots of materials to make editions of prints, and she really is one of our most popular artists, so she is returning. And then in the summer, I know you asked me about the winter-spring program.
Well, let's keep going.
We have an artist called Richard Bosman, who also was one of the very first artists who worked with us. And we're going to be doing a monoprint workshop, and we're going to have him working on monoprints too as one of our visiting artists. So people who want to join the workshop will also have the opportunity to work with a professional artist like him, in conjunction with 2 members of our staff, Rachel Griffin and Jason Rule.
Oh, terrific people. And please explain briefly what we mean by monoprint.
A monoprint is a one-of-a-kind print.
Okay.
And generally what happens is an artist will draw or paint with ink on a piece of plexiglass, and then the paper is put on top of that, and then it goes through the press, and the image transfers from the plexiglass to the paper just one time.
Okay.
Thus the word monoprint.
Okay. So is it by choice that it is run one time, or can it physically only be run once and then that's it?
It's definitely by choice.
Okay.
Generally, there is some ink left on the plate, which is called a ghost.
Yeah, so I think I've heard of this.
You could actually fill it in again and run another one, but it still would be different because there would be different levels of ink, different textures perhaps.
Right.
The colors might be changed a little bit. So generally it's in that way it's different.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of ghost prints and they're really interesting. I think in some cases they can be more interesting than the original, but it's all art. It's
all art.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
got its own personality.
Exactly.
Terrific. Is there anything else you want to tell us about before we go back to the second half of the concert?
Yes. Well, the next thing that we should just mention is that next month on the 1st of March, we will have our second concert of the spring season, and we'll have lots more news at that concert, and we will have members of the faculty at the University of Wisconsin Jazz Studies program leading students in a wonderful performance yet again.
Terrific. Thank you so much, not only for these conversations, but for bringing these artists in, not only visual artists, but you bring in these student musician artists. And I feel like this is what makes Madison such a special place to live. Organizations like Tandem Press who broaden our horizons and just make the quality of life that much better here.
There are so many things happening. You're so right. It's so exciting.
It is. Paula Panczenko, director of Tandem Press. Thanks so much. It's always great to talk to you.
Thanks, Buzz. Thank you.